we generated around 560 plus million impressions organically. Those
creating property cards for the first time for people owning houses in the rural areas.
We have a patent on a bits technology, which...
But we were really guided by what we wanted it to be.
In terms of the content consumption pattern has changed.
Very competitive, very crowded.
The objective is basically to democratize cancer care.
I see a very bright future for retail industry.
Technology now allows us to scale up.
We also want to help patients become more compliant.
If I look at the custom solutions market, it's almost about $1,500 billion.
Your customers will not continue to be with you if you don't change here.
We had adopted digitalization much earlier.
within a very short span of time, we are the number one operator in the whole of South India.
If you are reaching out to a lakh people today, you would be reaching out to an entire globe tomorrow.
We got those two brands and then immediately got into a few of the LFRs, and there was no looking back.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 38th episode of Ascent Talks. My name is Ajit Pannekar and I've been an Ascent member for over 10 years and I lead Nova, an air conditioning company, and Pure Blue, a tech-enabled startup in the air conditioning domain. And as usual, my co-host is Ali. How are you doing, buddy?
Fantastic. Good morning, Ajit. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ascent Talks. We're looking forward to a very energetic show today. And my name is Ali Merchant. I'm the founder of Synapse, a marketing and advertising agency, and a proud member of Ascent. And Ascent details Ajit will give you.
All right, guys, for all of you who are joining us for the first time, Ascent is a not-for-profit organization founded by Harsh Mariwala, Chairman, Marico Limited, and his deep passion for identifying promising entrepreneurs in the growth stage. Its primary objective is to support these entrepreneurs in expanding their enterprises and enhancing their entrepreneurial journey. Since its establishment in 2012, Ascent has successfully empowered over 850 entrepreneurs throughout India. Ascent stands out as a remarkable platform that fosters peer-to-peer collaboration, leveraging the collective strength of its members. At the heart of this platform are self-facilitated groups known as trust groups, where entrepreneurs come together to share their experiences, exchange ideas, and provide valuable insights. By creating such a vibrant ecosystem for learning and growth, Ascent enables its members to benefit from each other's knowledge and expertise. Ascent Talks, which takes place on a weekly basis, showcases the journey of Ascent members, highlighting their fascinating entrepreneurial experiences. So, Ali, let's bring in our guest today.
Absolutely. With over 30 years of experience in advertising, Nagessh is the founder and managing director of Currynation Brand Conversations, a thriving advertising agency ranked number 33 by prestigious Economic Times in an independent survey. He has had the privilege of working with blue chip brands, including renowned names in the Unilever portfolio and leading telecom brands. He has been instrumental in orchestrating award-winning campaigns both in India and on the international stage. In addition, he has recently embarked on a thrilling entrepreneurial journey with the launch of direct-to-customer brand Silver Edge, focused on the ever-growing market of mature adults age 40 plus. Ajit, you're getting that. Silver Edge aims to revolutionize customer adoption in its virgin territory, driven by the passion for crafting engaging brand experiences. Nagessh thrives on taking brands from strength to strength, seamlessly blending creative thinking with strategic insights. His ability to identify untapped opportunities and translate them into successful campaigns has been the cornerstone of his career. Welcome, Nagessh, to the show.
Thank you, Ajit. Thank you, Alim, for having me here. Pleasure to be on this platform.
Great. Nagessh, just to get it started, can you tell us about your journey as an entrepreneur, about the industry that you work in, and tell us a little about Silver Edge also?
Sure. So my entrepreneurial journey goes back to early 2010. So after having spent almost 2 decades with the leading MNC, agencies in India, the need to do something, and the need to be in the spotlight by creating some identity of your own, was the driving force behind that. And I sort of partnered with my partner right now on Currynation, Preeti Nair, and we both started Currynation early 2011. Right, the going lead philosophy at that time, Aleem, was there were a lot of B2C companies, who were manufacturing products and supplying to the MNCs, but they had this innate desire, right, to have their own brand, right? मुझे भी कुछ वैसा brand बनाना है, मुझे भी वैसा brand खड़ा करना है, this was this desire, and we realized that most of these people had all the wherewithal, the money, the distribution, all the strength, but they didn't have a marketing partner who they could tie up with. And one of the fears that was holding them back was that, what if I go to a big agency, for my brand needs, right? Will I ever get the attention of the senior people? Will I ever be, given attention? Will I be able to afford them? That was the entire challenge that time, and that was the space we identified, and we said we want to go in and be the brand for the SMEs who want to be in the spotlight, right? That was the starting point of our business at that point in time. Have we been successful? I would say that marginally, because the SME cluster in India is huge, correct? They're spread all over, right? But whichever businesses that we have worked with and we have lived, with, we have continued the relationship for almost 7, 8, 9 years, right? Case in point being Rasna, right? Then we were handling a brand called Nirlep. Then there was Wakefield, Pitara, which is from Desai Brothers Fold, and so on and so forth, right? So those are some of the brands that we really impacted, right? And one of the things that we pride ourselves in the fact that when an entrepreneur is sitting across the table, right, and he's talking to an entrepreneur at our end, right, there is a synergy that comes in, there's a seamlessness that comes in, and that is what sort of creates the bond, right? There are no levels, there are no hierarchies, right? The best thing about entrepreneurs is they react by the gut. They don't depend on tons and tons and tons of research, right? The moment they give you a brief, your work output is there out there in the market in about 30 to 45 days. With large MNCs, it may take months, right? So that was really where our entrepreneurial journey started. And today we are where we are. As you mentioned, we've been ranked number 33 in an independent survey. We won a lot of international Indian accolades. We have a team strength of 24 people. Today, our task, in the ever-changing world of advertising and communication, our task is to make the CMO's life easy, right? A CMO has a very difficult task, right? There's proliferation of media. The medias have got, broken up, segregated. So how do we make the life of the CMO easy from a day-to-day operations perspective? And how do we give him work that he can proudly showcase, when he's having a coffee conversation at the coffee vending machine, or in the evening, when he's in a party, and when his, peers ask him what the work you're doing, and he can probably show the work that he has done, right? So that is really what we live for, and that's what keeps us awake at night.
So Nagessh, we have a lot of entrepreneurs who actually are watching our show. And
Right.
One of the things, most entrepreneurs, like you already said, SMEs and everything, when it comes to making an ad, what goes into making an ad? How do you actually conceive the ad? What are the brief? What is the kind of the right brief to give, and how do you actually take it? So what we'll do is, let's actually showcase some of the ads that you've created, and let you take us through how did this happen? What was the brief that came in? What are the thought processes that came? So let's see one of the ads that you first created. Have a look at this.
कृष्ण तुलसी पूर्ण शुद्धि, कृष्ण तुलसी बहुगुणा, शरीर शुद्धि अति सुगंधि, शरीर शुद्धि अति सुगंधि।
शुद्धता का अभिषेक हर रोज कृष्ण तुलसी आयुर्वेदिक सोप।
संपूर्ण शुद्धि।
So Nagessh, this ad which has it has a huge Shankar Mahadevan as the endorsement.
Brand
So
ambassador.
tell us how a brand ambassador. Tell us how did this whole thing happen, and what are the thought process in making this ad?
Sure. So let me just step back before making the ad. It was an interesting business challenge that was thrown upon us. This brand was acquired by Chola Oil Company in early 2013, right? This was a brand that was only getting sold in Kerala, right?
Okay.
So there is this famous pilgrimage of Sabrimala that happens, right? So people from Maharashtra, people from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Chennai, they all go to Kerala to do the darshan. On the way back, right? They pick up this soap in dozens. Okay.
Wow.
So October, November, December, and parts of January, the sale of this used to be 500 tons, 600 tons. and then after that the sale used to drop. Why? Because so when we dug deep, we realized that Krishna Tulsi, see, there are various kinds of Tulsis, but this was Krishna Tulsi. Krishna Tulsi is blue in color. The other Tulsis are green in color, right? And then the question really was, there was a belief that people were taking that, this is like God's, soap, the Krishna Tulsi soap, right? They were, stuck by distribution. They were not selling beyond Kerala, the company that was manufacturing. Chola took it and told us that I want to make this two challenges. One is I want to make this a South Indian brand and pan India, okay. And second thing is that I want to make it an everyday soap, right? And not only limited to those 4 or 5 months of usage, right? So then when so that was a business challenge, and we went and spoke to consumers and had conversation. Then we realized that Tulsi, as an ingredient, has a lot of perceptual inventory in people's mind, right? Again, it goes back to culture, and that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in, that we understand Indian culture like nobody does, right? Tulsi in Indian culture is, potent, right? It is antibacterial. It is used to cleanse the corners of the house. After you do a puja, pani chidakte hain, right? To cleanse the house of all the, bad odor, bad things, microbes, everything. It is also consumed when somebody is ill, to improve the immunity, right? With such a huge perceptual inventory, we said, how can we change this? Then one of the things that happened was that we realized that if we were to position this soap as a daily abhishekam, correct? Having a bath with this soap is like having a daily abhishek. Abhishek is the purifying ritual when you do to the deity, So it was like having a bath with this is like, purifying yourself on a daily basis. That is the reason why we position as the daily abhishekam, right? And we use Sanskrit words. And then we wanted somebody who can, do justice to the singing and to the melody in the singing, and who better than Shankar Mahadevan ji, right? And he agreed to, in fact, volunteered himself. He said, I would like to, act in this ad. So, and then we got him to, come in as the brand ambassador, and as one of the members of the family who's singing the song and virtues of the product. And that is how this entire daily abhishekam of purity was coined, and the brand went on to become a very good brand in the South Indian segment, and it was able to craft a niche for itself within a lot of other Tulsi, and neem based soaps. It carved a market share for itself. So that is how it went by, and in terms of creation.
Let's take one more the other ad, which is completely different, and let's see that ad too.
मस्ती का पिटारा खोलो, मस्ती का पिटारा खोलो, जोड़ो 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 जोड़ो, इमेजिनेशन को जोड़ो, इमेजिनेशन को जोड़ो, झूमो नाचो बोलो, खेलते खेलते बढ़ो बढ़ो, सोचो सोचो सीखो, तोड़ो मोड़ो मोड़ो तोड़ो, घूमो घुमाओ, भागो भगाओ, इमेजिनेशन को और उड़ाओ, इमेजिनेशन को पंख लगाओ, ओ ओ ओ ओ ओ, इमेजिनेशन को जोड़ो, इमेजिनेशन को जोड़ो, खेलो खाओ खाओ खेलो, इमेजिनेशन को जोड़ो, इमेजिनेशन को जोड़ो, 68 new surprises from Kinder Joy, इमेजिनेशन को जोड़ो.
Fantastic. Nagessh, I have two questions for you. In the earlier ad, was that really milk?
There is no, that was to cue the abhishekam,
No,
so if you see the milk changes to the water.
Ads where actually ice cream is actually potato. So what did you use? That didn't look like milk, obviously. I mean, it looked too thick for it. So what was it really? I mean, in pre-production, what did you do?
So it was ingredients that were used to cue, there was tulsi, there's water, there's milk, everything. So if you see, if you go to the temple, there's the milk water that they use, patla doodh ka pani, which they used to cleanse. So that was the connotation that we want to give.
Correct, but was it really milk?
When you made the ad, he's saying when you made the ad.
Yeah, in the shoot.
It was actual milk water.
Yeah, okay. Because it
usually they use Fevicol, but that was
correct. That is what I wanted to get to. Correct. That is what I wanted to get to. Anyway, fantastic. So Nagessh, now a very different journey from the soap brand to Kinder Joy, larger brand. What is the thought process that goes on here, and how is it different from? I mean, Kinder Joy is a much bigger brand. So.
Right. So here again, there was a challenge, and the challenge was that there were competitive brands that are available at 5 rupees, 10 rupees, right? And this was being retailed at 35 to 40 rupees, right? How do you break the barrier for a mother, to go and easily pick up the Kinder Joy chocolate and give it. It was becoming an occasional gifting for children by the mother. Correct? कुछ अच्छा किया तो ये ले लीजिए करके. Correct? But how do you make it a everyday usage? How do you make it, the consumption more this thing? It was a simple, the thing what we did, and it came out as in a consumer research is that when we gave the chocolate to a lot of children in a room, right, and we just observed them, correct. The interesting part, Aleem, was that the moment you give the children the Kinder Joy egg, the part of the egg, so there are parts to the Kinder Joy egg, right? There is a toy and there is a chocolate. The part which is the chocolate was kept aside. They were more interested in seeing what is the toy that they get, and they start assembling the toy. Correct? They start assembling the toy, and they started talking to the other person. What did you get? What did you get? What did you get? Right? So somebody got a cycle, somebody got a Barbie, somebody got a hockey stick, somebody got something, right? And then they started playing games. So somebody who had a Barbie and somebody who had a cycle kept the Barbie on the cycle, and they both started pushing the cycle and playing around and all that. Correct? And then it so happened that we hit upon this idea that when you actually buy Kinder Joy, you're not buying a chocolate, correct? You're actually buying the overall development of the child, right? So, and within the idea is embedded the product, right, which is assemble imagination, right? You're assembling the toy to give wings to the child's imagination, and that's where the gem of the idea came in. And we decided that we'll focus more on the cognitive and social development of the child that happens through this, and which is where the entire idea of assemble imagination. And because it's an international brand, we wanted to make it much more suited to India and Indian people. So we decided to use a Hindi music. So if you look at that, otherwise if you look at most international brands, it's a plinky plonky music that's get used. But here we said no, consciously we said we will do Hindi, and we will use music that become catchy, right? And that was the genesis of this entire ad, and this was created, and this went on to do well for the brand at that point in time.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Are we seeing one more ad, Ajit, or should we?
Yeah, you can see.
Gold is gold is gold is gold.
I won't hide. I won't feel shy. I won't hide.
Bold to wear gold. PNG.
What do you see in the ad? Ali? Gold, or you saw Madhuri Dixit? What did you see?
This ad is definitely close to a lot of people's hearts. All 40 plus Madhuri Dixit, one part of their in their life. Nagessh, tell us about this one. This one looks interesting.
So this is one of my favorite case studies, that I am very proud of and associated with. So PN Gadgil is a Pune-based, jewelry chain, and they are about 136, 140-year-old brand, right? So when they came to us, their challenge was that, with the older segment, my brand loyalty is very high, but within the same house, the younger audience doesn't want to come to me. The younger audience, wants to go to, the younger brand. That is the destination brand. I'm not the destination brand for the youth. How do I, change my entire persona and my personality to become a much more today's and modern brand, right? So we dug deep, we did a lot of consumer work, and we realized that it was an imagery issue that the brand was facing, right? The trust was very high. Even the younger generation said, yes, I know when I go to PNG, I'll get the right quality of gold, the right, making charges, everything. But they are not the kind of brand I would never want to flaunt this brand, say the maine PNG ka pehna hai, correct? So, and when we went through the history of the brand, we realized that the brand was always communicating in Marathi, their entire imagery was very Maharashtrian, and that was something which the youth of today didn't want to associate it with. They wanted to be much more modern brand. And therefore we hit upon this entire insight, that when you wear gold jewelry, you want people to come and ask you, kahan se kharida, what is this? You want to shine. You don't want to be one of the, wallpaper on the desktop. Correct. So you want to shine out and you want people to ask you. So the designs were good, but how do you package it in an interesting manner? So we went to this entire bold thing. We told the client, that you have Madhuri Dixit, don't, show her in a Nawari, correct? Show her in a modern, outfit. If you see the communication, the entire communication is English, right? We said, don't do Marathi hats, right? Then my favorite example, we showed Madhuri Dixit with necklaces on her back. That was a complete no-no. The client put his foot down saying, I'm not going to do this because this is against Maharashtrian culture. It will hurt the sensibility. We said, no, please do it. It took a lot of power, and then finally client said, I will take a risk in doing a small hoarding somewhere in Pune. They did it. people, started calling the owner and the marketing, say, fantastic, what's a lovely ad. I want that particular necklace which Madhuri Dixit is wearing, correct? And then we did a full-fledged campaign, and this went on to really, garner a lot of market share and do very well for the brand and the business. And it changed the perception. Also, we also, changed the logo from P and Gadgi Jewelers to PNG. That was the other change we made. So it was a full package. So when you do communication, Ajit, Alim, it's about, your work should connect with the real people in the real world, right? That's the most important thing, right? And therefore, understanding, so when we say cultural understanding is, you go, you do ethnographic studies, you live your life with the consumer, you understand them, and you pluck something from the consumers, skin, under the skin. There could be a ritual, there could be, some action that they must be doing, there is some belief, or some positive or negative belief. You pick that and you convert that into an interesting communication tool which sort of resonates with them, and you're voila, you got a magical thing happening, and connection happens at different levels with the consumer. So that's really what we set out to do.
Nagessh, anybody who's watching it, will suddenly say that, dude, this guy's doing fun, creative stuff and super stuff. It's, wannabe kind of a feeling. But, as entrepreneurs, we all know, it's never easy. Tell us,
Yes,
in your entrepreneurial journey, what are the biggest challenges that you faced? Yeah, what are the, all of us go through it. Share with us some of those challenges that you faced. Yeah.
I'll tell you. So when we started off, I was told, Nagessh, mistake, mistake, mistake. Why will anybody come to a boutique agency, creative agency like you? I mean, there are the big agencies. Everybody's there. They all make a beeline there, correct? So we proved them wrong, correct? We've won businesses and we've got businesses from bigger agencies. We've competed against bigger agencies and won against them, right? We have a proposition, that sort of resonates with the entrepreneur-led community as well as with the MNCs, and that is my and my partner's personal involvement in all the businesses that we handle, right? Today we have noticed that with the splintering of media and all the channels available, clients are looking for expert help, right? And we put our hand on the table and we said that for all strategic discussions, we are always there, right? So that is one, so that we broke that myth. The second thing is that we were told that you'll face a lot of issues in terms of money collections and this and that. Thankfully, thanks to God and the Almighty and our clients, we have not had a single issue of payments with any of our clients. All our money actually comes in advance. People pay us in advance for our services, right? Having seen our work, one is that, and having seen our commitment on the table. That's the second thing. Then we had this challenge of COVID, which impacted all our lives, right? And that is where we actually went back and pivoted. So we were a mainline agency, right? We had not even touched the tip of the digital era, right? And then that's when we pivoted and we sort of became a digital agency. So today we promise all digital solutions with mainline. So we bring the brevity and stature of brand thinking to the digital world of speed, right? And these two in combination is something that has really stood us in good stead over the past 2 years. So these are some of the challenges that one faced, Ajit, and slowly, we sort of surpassed all of them, and we are today in a good position where we are happy to say that we have a team of 24 people. We are handling clients not only in India, sitting in Bombay, we handle clients across the region within India and also abroad, right? We are doing projects in Vietnam. We are, managing clients, in US and a couple of other markets. So we are very proud of what we've done and the shackles that we've broken.
Super. And a lot of entrepreneurs today are B2B, especially in our Ascent community. So what kind of, they would look at these ads and they would say, "Nee, ye mere liye nahi hai." So what kind of marketing would you suggest to such kind of entrepreneurs?
See, at the end of the day, an idea does not know B2B, B2C, India, London, UK, US. An idea is an idea, correct? An idea needs to hit the consumer at the heart. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
The mode of communication will change. For a B2C, I might take, TV, I might take radio, I might do, YouTube ads and all that. For a B2B, I might do direct mailer, correct? But the direct mailer can't be a bland, email. It has to have some idea. It has to have something that will connect, at the hidden desire of the receiver, right? So that is what at the base of all the business issues is that what is the idea that you're cracking, to really connect with the audience that you're talking to. B2B, B2C are all terms. At the end of it all, I believe that the idea has to pervade.
Absolutely. Well said, Nagessh. Well said. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nagesh, I really want you to tell us something about your Ascent journey and a little about your personal story also about your family and everything. So let's listen to the Ascent journey first and then go to the personal one.
Sure. So, frankly, I'm so happy that I've been introduced to Ascent. And now this is my fifth year, right? I'm part of the Zoomers TG, and so when I came into Ascent, I was very clearly told, this is not a business generation platform. This is not there are so many other such platforms. This is not that, right? And when I heard Mr. Mariwala's vision, and when I spoke to Archana and the entire team there, and that was something that I was desiring. So as an entrepreneurial journey is very lonely, Ajit, correct? Your family doesn't understand. Tum karte kya ho, correct? Your family doesn't understand what you do. Your friends to a large extent don't understand what you do. The challenges that you face are quite different as compared to the challenge that others are facing, right? So you don't really have an ecosystem on where you can fall back and have a conversation, talk your heart out and share problems. You really don't get that, right? You have to create that own ecosystem of yours if you're an evolved entrepreneur. Most entrepreneurs are very lonely and very withdrawn, right?
Yes.
To me, Zoomers and Ascent, Zoomers is the TG and Ascent is the overall platform. That is what Ascent has given me. It has given me an ecosystem to fall back on, right? I know that at the end of the month, every Friday, I can go and I can vent. I can share my happiness. I can go and share my sadness. I can share my pitfalls. I can share my issues. And I know that, there's my trust group, right? It's called a trust group for a reason, right? Whatever I say, it's going to be within the four walls of that room, right? That's the biggest difference that Ascent has made me. And in the process, I have made some 11 fantastic friends, right? Friends for life, and I share everything with them. And we've done a lifeline exercises, and we know each other inside out, and that has sort of helped us in bond really well. So that's really my journey, and I'm really happy. And hats off to Mr. Mariwala and the entire team for doing such a fantastic job.
So Nagesh, I want you to bring that little personal side of you. I know you're a single parent. So tell us,
Yes.
how did that happen and how challenging that has been? You run a business, you started a
Right.
second business, and please share with us that.
Sure. Okay. So, one fine day, September 15th, 26th, 2015, is when, we were in a public function, me and my wife, and she suddenly collapsed, right? She had a brain hemorrhage, right? And yeah, that's my wife, my two daughters, Khushi on the left and Hasi on the right. She just collapsed and never to be revived. And within a week, we lost her. So the brain hemorrhage is what really got her. And she was a perfectly fit, very health conscious person, but I guess there are certain things which destiny can't change. And Ajit and Alim, I can't tell you. I was a person who was living my life out of a suitcase, right? Traveling here, there, Chennai, Bombay, Singapore, this, that, for client meetings. Rarely in the house. And I was a passive parent, correct? Barely skimming the surface, in terms of my children's studies and, day-to-day life. She was managing work and she was managing, the house. And everything changed, everything just changed topsy-turvy, right? From being a passive, out-of-home parent, I had to become an active at-home parent, right? I had very limited support system, being the only child, and my wife's extended family was there, but within the four walls of the house, it was me, my children, and a maid, correct? And there's only that much that even the maid could do, right? I had to sort of take charge, right from getting them ready to school, to times when maids were not coming, to learning cooking, correct? I had never made tea in my life, to making breakfast, tiffin for them, to everything, to being their friend, mentor, guide, to everything, right? It was a complete shift that happened, for me, complete change. Not an easy task, not at all, and I'm still learning in the process. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to be a good parent. But for me, it has been a great learning, Ajit. And if I can share my learnings, I'll be happy to if you allow me to. So two things, that stood out for me was, one, that I really, doff my hat to all the women. They do all of what I did in the past 7 years and more, correct? Without so much as a whimper, correct? Hats off to women. I realize the challenges that women face, and I really respect and salutation, and my respect for women has really gone up, with my private own experience. And the second thing is that I believe that fathers can be mothers too, right? You just need to change your perspective, correct? You just need to change, it's just not about work, 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 work. There is a side to your life that you also need to devote, right? I really pray to God that people don't undergo what I've undergone, but I've seen so many parents, who were like me when I was early 2015, right? Passive parents become an active parent, and you'll realize that there is a softer side to you. There's a feminine side to a father also, right? And that is what, especially girl children, crave for. And this have been two of my biggest learnings, and I hope that I can pass on my learnings to many others, and they can sort of learn from that and take things forward.
That's so amazing, Nagessh. It's fantastic. I know it's never easy to do this, but
Yeah.
for anyone who's wondering, a single parent running to one successful agency, also now ventured into a new venture, there's another softer side of it, and we are very keen to bring that side of you. So, Nagessh, let's bring out the raga side of you, the Hindustan classical side of you. Let's hear that. But I know that's one of your passions. Let's hear that from you and explain to us, who don't understand music, as to what is it, the ragas that go into it. Let's end that show on a very great note. So over to you. The stage is yours.
Sure, thank you. So I was a avid singer. It was a hobby. I thought, let me convert that hobby into a passion. And what I did is that early 2019, I started learning Hindustan vocals, and now I'm in my fourth year of serious practicing and serious learning. So that's where I am. So what I learned, what I'll share with you today is one rag which is a favorite of mine, which is Rag Yaman. Okay, Rag Yaman is a song, is the rag that is sung in the evenings. It's called the king of evening ragas, right? It's a Sampurna rag. When I say Sampurna, means all the Sapta Sura are used in singing this in the song. It's got a versatile rag. You can sing a sad song, you can sing a romantic song, you can sing a ghazal, and there are lots of songs that have been sung on this rag in Hindi movies. I'll just give you a glimpse of one of the songs that have been based on this. Ni re ga ma ga re sa sa ni pa pa ma re ga sa ni sa ga pa ma pa नित सांझ सवेरे मिलते हैं नित सांझ सवेरे मिलते हैं उन्हें देख के तारे खिलते हैं लेते हैं विदा एक दूजे से कहते हैं चले आना जब दीप जले आना जब शाम ढले आना.
That is truly amazing, man. So to all our viewers today, you've seen, I can guarantee you, even your trust group guys did not know so much about you even after so many years, after seeing the show. but this is amazing, Nagessh. You've been quite an inspiration. It's been a lovely show, seeing the work. You're an exceptional parent, an exceptional entrepreneur, and the Ascent community is really happy to have you as part of our board. Thank you so much for taking time out to be on our show.
I'm going to go home 1 hour early today and spend some time with my daughter.
I know, exactly. It was that was a great takeaway. Yeah? Thank you so much, Nagessh. Thank you for taking time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ajit. Thank you, Ajit. Bye. Thank you.
Oh man, dude, how do you wear so many hats and survive here? Yeah, multiple businesses, running a parent, 2 teenage daughters, and still chasing a passion of your own, which is music. Anyway, we did overstep by about a few minutes today from our 30 minutes, but it was worth it. It was worth it. So before we wind up, guys, if you love the show, and share it with others, share it with another entrepreneur, and keep subscribing and liking to all the channels that we do. We are also available on podcasts, all the major podcast channels. But if you believe that the next decade is the era for India, and you want to be part of that story, and you believe that you're growth ready, then you should visit ascentfoundation.in and apply for membership. note this option is not like, you pay a fee and get an immediate membership. Ascent will get in touch with you and evaluate you. And if you're truly a growth ready entrepreneur, they would be happy to bring you on board and make you part of the Ascent community. So that's all for it today. And we're going to see you next Friday at 11 a.m. with another interesting story. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and see you next Friday. Bye, Alim. Cheers.